Okay, hello and welcome everybody. We're going to get started on our remedy plate class. And so let me know your interest, your questions about remedy plates, and then I want to take you through some of the different remedy plates that we have and talk to you all about how to use them and why they're very, very important. One thing I was thinking about for this holiday season was that you could all do your own giveaways of imprinted bracelets. And, you know, that could be something that could even be like a lead magnet. These bracelets are not that expensive. And, you know, you could even have a drawing, or you could have like a marathon class where you give these away, sort of similar to what we did the other week. There are just so many things that you can do to promote your genius practice. And thank you so much, Lori. Thank you, everybody who's joining. We truly are in the age of frequency and light. And so as such, like, it's very exciting, all of these incredible tools that we can use. So I'm just not sure why it's not focusing as much as good as I would like it to. So I'll just play around with this a little bit, see if I can get it any better. But basically, your remedy plate is a tool for you to use with your genius in order to get imprints of different products and also put different things into media. So the different types of plates have different types of energies. But the main thing is that these energies then basically are going to be transmitted into whatever you want to utilize. So you could imagine if you had something like, we have this, basically this silver, colloidal silver, and what you could imagine doing with this is imprinting this remedy, you know, frequencies for sinuses into this. Why is this not focusing? Maybe because it's too close. Is that a little bit better? We'll figure this out before the end. So what I want to do is I want to answer your questions. I want to talk about each one of the plates and help you to start utilizing it in your practice. Does anybody want to volunteer today to receive a bracelet? So if you're on here, I know it's out of focus. I'm trying to figure out how to focus it. It's not focusing on its own. I'm not sure it's because it's just the height of it. So we'll have to do our best here. If we get closer, does that help? You're going to have to bear with me because my other camera didn't work. I had a second camera, and at the last second I had to improvise. So we're going to just have to work with this for the moment. See any way that we can get it a little bit better. Yeah, isn't that crazy? This is the same camera I usually use for my classes, and for some reason it's just not utilizing correct focus, autofocus on this, which is really weird. Anyway, your remedy plate is an incredible vehicle to changing your practice. You could be putting all of this jewelry and crafts and different imprinted objects onto Etsy or eBay. There's just many, many different opportunities. You could put it right on your website, and it could be something, the first way that people get introduced to you to learn about the genius. So there's so many possibilities of what you can do with this. So I want to give you some ideas. A lot of people don't really utilize the remedy plate in the way that could be the most beneficial. And so I want to take you through some of that and introduce you to it and see what we can find out. Also, take your questions and volunteer if you want to utilize it. See what we can do. Don't really worry too much about it being out of focus, because number one, is nothing we can do about it. Number two, there isn't too much to focus on at the moment. You're just getting sort of a view of this. So let's take some volunteers so that we could do some combination of different, a session. I can just put this in the side view. And let me get this over here. Hang on, because I have a presentation for you, so we're going to get to that. Okay, so we'll just have this over here. And okay. There we go. All right. Okay, fantastic. Okay, can you work us through how to turn it on? Okay, maybe out of focus. Yeah, I don't know if I'll just play around with it. But like I said, you don't really need to see anything in particular. And plus we have these pictures in the presentation, so that will be very helpful. All right. All right, let me turn off this camera for a minute and get this up here. So what we'll be covering today is, what is the remedy plate for? How do you create remedies? How do you turn it on? Which is very, easy to turn on. So we'll go cover that as well. And all right, get back to that in a second. All right, bear with me. We've almost got this 100% ready to roll. All right, so with switching on your remedy plate, the only thing that you need to worry about with switching on your plate is if it's connected to the Genius. So if it's connected to your Genius, you don't really have to worry about anything else. It will be automatically working. And we're going to talk about how you can put supplements into the Genius, how long you should imprint it for, what should you imprint it with, and how long do the frequencies last. And we have 20% off all of the plates today. So if you want to get this plate, or if you have a plate and you want to get another one, you want to get a different type of plate, we have all of that possibility for you here as well. So let's talk about some different pieces here. All right. All right, well, a lot of the standard plates that we send out is this plate here, which is our sacred geometry plate. So these plates are beautiful. They're really well crafted. They're individually crafted by our curator, our artiste that puts these together. He's very, very good at what he does. So with, any of these, you can put the batteries into I'm going to put them in here. You can put the batteries into the plate. And we usually send a set of batteries with them. So they're usually try to take them out so they don't drain. And then you can switch on the plate just with the batteries. And you can kind of see that there's a light in there that switches on. You can see it through here. All right. And to connect it to the Genius, you need a dongle adapter. So I brought some adapters here that would go right into my iPad. All right, so I've got my iPad here, and I've got my Genius. I've got my Genius on my Mac, but I also have it on my iPad, so I'll try to show the iPad view so you get the idea. And hopefully it will connect online in a moment. All right, so here's my iPad, and I connected it. I ordered this connection that has the USB-C to a 3.5, so it's a little different from what we send to you. Here's the 3.5 millimeter connection, right? So that's what's going to go into your Genius, right? And then I actually ordered this specific one, which is a 3.5 to the USB-C. All right, so then I'm going to take this and basically use one of these. You don't have to use any, like both of these jacks here. You only have to use one. If you wanted to run the plate on its own to mitigate EMF in your room, then you can plug in that. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. You can utilize the plug like this. And that's just if you want to plug it in like to a brick and just run it on its own. But if you want to connect it to your Genius, you're going to have it connected, and then you're going to see these lights should come on right here. The power of this is driven by the batteries are really helping to bring it power or boost the power, but the power is really coming from your iPad, from the iPad itself. All right, see if I can get that. All right, so that is one of the plates and how it turns on, so make sure that Kelly gets that question answered. I know it can be a conundrum. So, like I said, we create remedies, we create structured water. You know, it's kind of amazing. Like, you could just take regular water. This is some spring water. And I want you to start to do some experiments where you put this on one of the plates and just run it on the solfeggio frequency for maybe 30 minutes. And you are going to have such an incredible experience of drinking this water. So you could give out water to your clients. I think you can't say it's a remedy, because then you could be dispensing medication or something like that in certain states. But you could give it to them as a gift and just say that this is for wellness. And then you're going to put the frequency in there. So, but also if you have anything like I was saying before, this is like colloidal silver, and you could take the sinus frequencies or the cold and flu frequencies and imprint it into that bottle nobody else is doing this. So your clients could bring their supplements and you could imprint extra frequencies into that for them. You can create incredible jewelry. Now, if you created this like tiger's eye and you put frequencies, maybe you put all the solfeggios, the nogiers, and the meridians in here. People will feel this when they put this on. It's really powerful. So that could be something that you offer as an in-person service, or something that you could imprint it and then you could pack it and you could ship it to that person in like a bubble envelope. It's always good to put things in a little bit of foil to sort of preserve the frequencies, but it's completely up to you. So you can capture the digital frequency of any remedy from the plate and place it into your personal custom libraries. We're going to look at how to do that. Now, the longer that you imprint frequencies, the more that the frequency saturates into the media. So 5 minutes for water, 10 minutes for a gemstone or jewelry, and 15 minutes for like a hologram wristband or a necklace like this. All right. All right. And when connected properly, sometimes the lights flicker. Julie, this is something I know you were emailing me about. It is working. And I know I talked to our, the guy, you know, our little company that crafts these, and it's absolutely working. But if you really don't feel confident that it's working, then just get in touch with me and we'll talk about, you know, maybe getting on FaceTime and looking at it together. But I know that if it's connected to any type of power and the batteries are running, that it is in fact working. So have confidence about that. The Genius sends frequencies to the plate. So your Genius will actually send the frequencies to the plate. So as long as they're connected, it is actually communicating with the plate. Now, it is true that when they're connected on mine, you're seeing the constant sort of these lighting up and sort of running as a board as you're seeing them connected and communicating. But it doesn't really matter. As long as that cord is connected, then there is a communication. For many, many years, we've sold plates that didn't actually have any battery or any inherent power in the plate. That's these other plates here, which are really beautiful, have these copper tracings, and they worked absolutely awesome. So let me see if I can get this connected here. See if I can show this on screen. Okay. All right, so I have my iPad here, so I can show you what's on my iPad and what we can basically put into the Genius as well. So let me just think about how to do this. All right, so I have my water here, I have my plate here, and all I need to do is choose my frequencies. So let's look at what we can do. We have it connected, we have the plate on, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a very simple tray here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose 3 important frequencies from your Genius. I'm going to use 528 hertz. Let's open the tray so we can see it. We're going to go to Sacred Geometry and use the golden ratio. And we can use something, this could be for maybe for somebody who has a lot of anxiety or somebody who's kind of wound up, or maybe even if you can't sleep, okay? And then we're going to use the Bach flower essences, and we're going to use Rescue Remedy, okay? Now what I'm going to do is say it's really like an urgent issue. I'm going to go to frequency, shape, and form, and I'm going to turn up the power to the maximum amount of power. And you gotta like laugh. This, oh, come on. I wonder if it's my internet speed, although I do have Starlink here. Okay, we could show it this way for now. It's the reflector is being very, but I can show it to you here. So you see where I put X50? You see where it says default? So I'm going to crank that up to X50, and that is going to allow me to, let's see if it'll let me switch back. That's going to allow me to do a much higher power push into the water or whatever I want to imprint. Okay, just let me do it this way so you can see that there. So now, maybe if I sit back here, Now I'm going to show you playing the frequencies. I'm going to go back here and I'm simply going to go right to the tray, and it is on 1 minute. So I'm going to play it. Okay, it's playing. And now we're basically putting this on the plate, and we're having the plate charge up the water. All right, or maybe I've actually got some rescue remedy here. So you could put the golden ratio and the solfeggios into this as well. It's slowing down its broadcast. I don't know if it's because we have too many things playing at one time. Let me just see if I can force quit anything here. Not the reflector, not the zoom. Let's force quit this. We are on, okay, we're on Firefox, so we can do the other browser, see if we can do that. Like, I don't want to accidentally end the Zoom. I can force quit this one. See if that's any better. Okay, so that's pretty easy to understand. That's how you're basically, anytime the power is on, right, and you're hitting play, it's going to move whatever it is into the plate. All right. So you initiate this by hitting play and then the button on the Genius. It's that easy. Let me show you with a different one. I'm going to switch it out to our triple remedy plate. Our triple remedy plate has 3 layers of sacred geometry. And this is the one that we're looking at right here. So this is going to be a bigger boost of energy. It's going to make more powerful remedies. It's going to change the energy that's in the room. It's going to help to mitigate the effects of EMFs like Wi-Fi. So it's got a bigger boom to it. It's got 3 really cool plates that have detailed sacred geometry configurations actually on each one of the layers here. So they all are different layers. This is called a tesseract. And so all types of sacred geometry brings in coherence. It means it brings in order. So switching this one on, also has a light. Let's see what happens when we connect it here. And so yeah, it does show that full strip of lights when it comes on. So when it's connected to the iPad, it does show that full strip of lights. So Julie, whatever's going on with yours, make sure you shoot me an email and I'll take a look at it and see what's going on, and we'll figure out what to do. And then you can also, remember, you can connect it on its own. So let's show that. So you just can connect it if you just wanted to run it on its own, or if you wanted an extra boost, you would plug this in here. And I have a USB port on connected to my computer. So here, this is going to give it like an extra boost of power. So it's like taking the power and sort of 4xing the power that you're pushing into whatever you're working on. So let's go ahead and put that in here. It doesn't really change the set of lights that are on here, but this is going to be even more powerful of a creation of a remedy. Because of the virtue that's now plugged in, it's got 2 of the plugins there working together. So, and it's switched on, it's got the battery pack underneath. So that's pretty powerful for imprinting. So you kind of want to think of yourself as an artist or some type of energetic creator. And whatever you decide to imprint, we have this beautiful crystal. Like, you could also just charge up this crystal, and this is going to be very, very powerful. Let's see what type of other brief little vignettes that we can create. So like, I like the playlist of 3. So you could create something generic that could work for people. You could also create, like we have spiritual protection here. Let's see. I see, it's being very finicky. Okay, the 5-layer plate, scalar broadcast plate. What can be done with the glass vials? Oh yeah, those are really cool. Let me see if I can locate those so we can talk about them. All right, why is it? There we go, just taking a minute. So what we want to do is think about things that would be easy to, let's see what we want to achieve. Oh, how about if we create a bracelet for someone for nutrition? So let's clear all of those. And what we could do is we could just put all the vitamins and create like an electrolyte type of thing, all the minerals. And then let's put in some digestive frequencies as well. All right, I know what I'm going to do for this because it's just a demonstration anyway. I'm going to just use the one from my Mac. For some reason, it's just broadcasting really slowly. And the glass vials allow you to make remedies, or even put remedies together that you would never normally be able to combine, like an essential oil and a flower essence, and put them on there, and then put the combination, and then put those back into the Genius in combination. Let me see if I can find where those are in just a moment here. All right. Okay, the scalar broadcast play we just went over. Do you play all the frequencies from a library or just the red-blue frequencies? So that is completely up to you. So that's a really good question, Marjorie. I'm glad you asked that. So let's take 2 different instances. In the instance 1, you want to create a bracelet that is simply for something you're going to put on your website. So it's generic. So it's not based on a particular person. You're not checking for individual frequencies. In that case, what you would do is you would probably include all the frequencies, because the Genius is, and then when you test, you would just put, I can show you, just put in there like generic, testing client. And that's going to be, just make up a date of birth and whichever gender that you want to use. So we have some of these, like these daily optimizers, daily mood lifter. These are libraries available at geniusbiofeedback.com. So we have the daily nutritional balancer, daily energy optimizer. Let's do that one. Okay. So if it was just like we were testing this person and we were creating a bracelet for them, then yes, we would include just the reds and the blues because this is just for them. But if it was a generic one, we'd want to include everything, including the yellows and the greens, because we're going to put everything into the bracelet. Now you could put this bracelet on your website for sale, and how cool is that? They're going to receive all of these frequencies imprinted into the bracelet. So let's look at this triple remedy plate that we have. We have the plate here, and we're going to go ahead and put this bracelet on top. And so just simply this bracelet right on top of the remedy plate here. Very, very simple to do, right? Nothing confusing about that. And then once it's on here, we're going to play what we have right here. And this is going to create like an incredible bracelet. We want to wrap it in some of the cell, like a cell bag, and then we want to put a description in there of all the frequencies that are in there, and then we can sell it generically. It doesn't have to be for any one person. Anybody could purchase it. All right, and they're getting, I like to, as I showed you in the last one, sort of do a figure 8 with the bracelets so that they get, actually getting really nice imprint from the sacred geometry as well here. So yeah, a little bit better. Okay. All right, so that's such a great plate. And you can see all the lights on, you can see the connections here. And so then you'd imprint that for 15, 20 minutes. If you really wanted to make it, you know, amazing, you could do it overnight. So lots and lots of different, you know, possibilities. But let's see. We still have the share on, right? Okay, is it okay to imprint into plastic? Do you need a clear glass? You can go into plastic, it is not a problem. I mean, glass technically is the one that's the best, but look, I have this bottle right here. So if I want to do this before I go to yoga, and I like I know people love the Stanleys and everything, and I know it's drinking out of plastic, but sometimes you're just on the go, or you don't want to worry about what's gathering up in that the eternal water bottle. So this I can just shoot up with maybe all the solfeggio frequencies before I go to my yoga class or whatever it might be. So let's look at what that would look like. So let's go ahead and we'll get another remedy plate into the mix here. So let's go ahead and pull out another plate that we have. So we have this scalar broadcast plate. So this is really a beautiful plate. Very, very powerful. It is definitely going to run some incredible frequencies in your home when you run it. So let me just show you. It doesn't need any batteries. It's got an internal power source. So you do need to plug in this one for sure, because that's going to need to be connected to a USB. And then it's going to instantly switch on. Sort of eternally on here. And it's got all magnets in here. It's really rotating. This one makes really incredible remedies with water or with herbal tinctures. So, I mean, any of the herbal tinctures that you have, if you're an herbalist or you enjoy working with that, they're going to become quite different. They're really going to be changed by the frequencies. So let's go ahead and can still connect it to the Genius. So I'm going to take that, and it's got the 3.5 millimeter. So I'm going to connect that there. Okay, so you can see that those are well connected. And now this would be a great one to imprint with the water. So let's go ahead and see if you can see that. It really beautiful. It's just beautiful to watch too because it spins. So that is really going to be impressionable in the water. Whatever you imprint from this plate is going to make a powerful, powerful water remedy. It's hard to show the front view of what's happening there. All right. And of course you could do something here. This is like rescue remedy. Have you ever done gua sha? Gua sha is to work on the face and the body. So gua sha here, so you could basically put that on here and charge it up. So it would have special frequencies in it when you're working on the person. And we have these fun little discs. These are also fun. People could put these under their pillow, or they could hold them. They could put it on their desk. And so you could actually charge up that type of a plastic disc for somebody as well. We have some of these available on the website, geniusbiofeedback.com. We have these shungite plates. You could charge them up. Another way to use the plate is actually to put the remedy plate on a shungite grounder so that it helps to ground the energy going into the remedy. All right, let's see what else we've got. I've also got a 5-layer plate, so let's see that one. So that other one that we're just taking apart now is the scalar broadcast plate. Looks like this. And like I said, if you just want to run this on your own in your home overnight, or to change the energy, this is really powerful because it has special magnets inside. And so, like, let's just say that you wanted to do global healing. If you did global healing and you were sending frequencies just from your genius, but you put the plate on, this one right here, it's going to have more of a broadcast effect to your home, to your neighborhood, and to the entire world. So it's going to send it out a farther distance because of that magnets and because of the spinning. Okay, we have a 5 plates. This is 5 different energies of sacred geometry in this one. And some of these are just really, really fun. So you're going to have that multiplicative energy 5 times with the plate. And let's see what this one looks like. See if we can get a better view without the light. We turn the light off. Okay, so isn't that fun? So it's just a beautiful plate to work with. So this is our 5-layer scalar plate. And remember, light has property too, so all of that light is getting broadcast into whatever you have over the plate, whatever bracelet or whatever it might be. And so, I mean, if you wanted to make if you had 3 different plates, you could actually show your client. You could say, what kind of bracelet do you want? And then you could say, which plate would you like it to be imprinted with? So that's when you're getting really, fancy and getting into all of this. All right. All right, my almost 18-year-old granddaughter is here and she has the chicken pox. Yep, so I have calamine lotion for her and other things. Can I put the solfeggios and maybe a few other things in the lotion? Absolutely. And how long would I run that for? I would say run it for 15 to 20 minutes. It will get a really good imprint. So why don't you use frequencies for inflammation, right? Use ones for the immune system, use ones for any infections. If you have actually like rife frequencies for chicken pox, you could do that. But maybe we could put together like a little sample of what you would do. But yes, put it into the calamine lotion. That would be a great way to get the frequencies into her, right? In this very innocuous way. Go back to the original plate that we had here. Okay, so this original plate. So another thing that you can do is you can have a group of people come over. So get a small group, a small gathering, and then you have the plate available and you tell everybody to bring a bottle of water. Their Stanley, their glass bottle, maybe they have like one of those blue glass bottles. Here I have this deuterium depleted water. So you have them bring anything that they want with them, and then everybody gets a turn and you imprint everybody's water for about 5 minutes. Another thing that I thought of doing was creating a landing page right on the website that says something like get a free imprint. Maybe they have to pay for shipping. So if you just had a landing page that says get a free bracelet, and send me your name and date of birth, and maybe just you don't even do the voice in the picture. Send me your name, your date of birth, and a picture, and I will create a personalized bracelet for you. Bracelet is shipping, but a bracelet is free, but shipping applies, what I'm trying to say. And so then you do the session for them, and you send it to them in the mail. And that could be a great way to get their email address, right? And have a personal connection with them. Maybe you do that for Christmas, or you do a drawing. Anybody who comes to my Zoom, I will draw randomly, or, first 3 to volunteer will get a bracelet sent to them for, no cost except for shipping. Does the first plate into the room? Does the plate broadcast into the room? Does the first one broadcast? So all of them, yes, can act like a broadcast. So even this one, especially when it's plugged into this extra power plug on its own, what it's going to be sending into the room is actually the energy that emanates from this sacred geometry. So because there's like a metal on here, right, it's going to be a little bit more powerful with this one. This one is going to be more likely to change the energy of the room because of the rotation and because of the magnets. All right, and we want to look at putting frequencies into the genius as well. So we're going to look at that in a second here. All right. Okay, all the plates are basically the same, and they send the frequencies to the media, whatever you have on the plate, or they import the frequencies to the genius. The shape or the design of the plate will influence and mix with the frequencies being sent or received. Guys, we do have a discount code, Remedy20, so Remedy20 for any Remedy plates that you'd like to get. I think we still have a few to post on the website, and we'll also be 20% off some of the accessories, like the shungite plate. And we also have some things that you can imprint. I have this backwards. So we have this beautiful little gold-plated dragon, and we have a Lakovsky antenna. And so some of those accessories that you may want to imprint will also be 20% off. And then also things like the shungite plate. And this is a really interesting plate here. This is a new one, which is this, it's called a scalar broadcast tower. And it has to do with the configuration itself, but it's got like 18 plates stacked one on top of the other. And so you can't put too much on here. It would be like a tincture or something that you could fit on the top. You can kind of see that it's got sacred geometry. I think that's the tesseract configuration. And it doesn't have any place for a battery, so the power is going to come from its connection to the actual iPad. Okay, but that's another really just a fun, interesting one. This is, again, where you could have these all, where you could have the pictures, take pictures of these and say, which of these would you like me to imprint your bracelet, or which of these would you like me to create your remedy with, and then have them choose that. So you have that visual effect as well. All right. Now, once you have something like a bracelet, sometimes people want to bring those back to have them worked on again. So just get any type of a pen light. It could be LED, or it could just be a green light. And you just run the green light over the bracelet or over the water or over the remedy, and it clears the energy out so that you could go ahead and then re-imprint, make a new imprint for them. Okay, so some examples of things that you can make. They're kind of endless. So you should start looking around for different types of energy, things that would pick up energy. Like this type of thing is going to pick up the frequencies because of the metal on the top here, the plating, right? And this is going to pick up energy because it's a natural stone. So it's going to be really well to pick up the energy. And this picks up the energy because it's water, and water is extremely impressionable. The best thing you can do is to start working with family members or friends and start creating these different gemstones, bracelets, water for them. And then you start asking them, how'd you feel? What happened? And then you will start to gain the kind of confidence that you need in order to take you further in your practice. All right, put all 9 solfeggios into water for a powerfully charged water. Now you, with your remedy plate, start doing this in the morning. Everybody drinks coffee, everybody drinks tea, you could put it into there, or just in the morning you could have your remedy plate and your iPad sort of around your kitchen or dining area, and then while you're eating, take the solfeggios, put all the solfeggios into the quick zap, and then charge up the water for 15 minutes. Now drink that water during the day. What is your experience of doing that? And, you know, it would be really interesting to find that out. When we've done live classes, those of you interested in a live Genius class, let me know. If you'd like to travel to the state of Arizona, we might be able to do that, a live Genius class, maybe a weekend. The reason I'm mentioning that is what we would do is we would take these eye drops. And so in class, we would put different frequencies into the eye drops. And then we would take these little disposable eye drops and test them out during the class. So imagine putting solfeggios, imagine putting nogies, imagine putting flower essences into frequencies that you can drop into your eyes. So as long as they're sterile eye drops and you just simply put them on the remedy plate, then you're good to go. It's not going to change the eye drops except to improve them. And it's going to deliver the frequencies right to the eyes. So that's what's so cool about it. Put flower essences into water and create a spray to spray the etheric field. So either all of those, all of the flower essences, your own favorite flower essences, or the ones that are personalized for that person. And then you sell, here's your personalized spray. So they're going to spray their field with all of those frequencies. That's another way to entrain the frequencies. Place affirmations into a sacred geometry. So we have this necklace shown on the screen, has sacred geometry. Now take maybe 21 affirmations that you found for your client and play it for 20 minutes into the necklace, and then give them the necklace, and they will be absolutely blown away. Shungite is another great way you could imprint the shungite as another great one. And selenite is one, but I don't know if they make any necklaces with selenite is a beautiful one. Okay, we got some people interested in coming to Arizona. Okay, I don't know where Henderson, Arizona is, but I am very close to Sedona, which is where the class would take place, if that's something that would interest you. All right, so now you could create wristbands or bracelets. So wristbands or bracelets. So what would you use a wristband or a bracelet? You could put pain frequencies into a bracelet. So this has been really, we have one woman, we may know her, Maria, and Maria has done an amazing job at making an entire business out of these different types of silicone bracelets, like the one that you see on the screen, gemstone bracelets. And so she started to put all types of pain frequencies, basically right frequencies for pain into these, and having her client put them on. And then people were absolutely blown away at the experience that they would have of their pain decreasing while putting this on. Digestive harmonizing, anxiety relief and quick calming, breakthrough to success. We have those affirmations, immune resilience. We have a library of 100 affirmations, so many things. And like I said, like for the granddaughter with the chicken pox, what you would want to do is put that 50x power boost. So I'm going to show that again on the Genius. So let's see what happened to our Genius here. So let's go to library creation for the other side to this. So far what we've talked about is just putting your Genius on play. Whatever your Genius is playing will flow into that remedy plate. We have another, this is just a really fun thing. We're probably going to put these with the packages for the holidays, and you may want to get one of your own. So let me show this. So this is a rodent coil, and it's made in a very specific way with precise sacred geometry. So it's going to produce a toroidal field. So you'd have to lay whatever the media is sort of on top of this, or you could even put it on top of the remedy plate and sort of make a stacking effect as well. But this will plug directly in, and then you connect it, like I said, to your iPad, right? So this is all connected. And so this is, like I say, more fun than healers were previously allowed to have. So imagine putting a water bottle sitting on this. Let's see if we can do it. Oh yeah, it sits pretty well on there. But anything that would fit over these as well, you could just sit like a mug on top of this or a plate. And so this has really incredibly, this is going to be the energy of your heart. This is going to create coherence. This would be good for anybody with anxiety, anybody with mood issues. This is going to be very calming to them. It's going to be very softening. So this is our rodent coil. Really, really fun to utilize. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything else that we have. We have another one here, which we still have to get onto the website, which is kind of interesting, which is a triangular shape. See if we can show this one. So this is a kind of an amazing pyramidal shape, if that's something that you're drawn to. What really would be fun is just to start creating water or similar gemstones and just ask people, like, what are their experiences of having or receiving the different types of energy. And it never gets old. Can we have the website? So yeah, it's geniusbiofeedback.com. And then you just go to the menu that says remedy plates. If you don't see the remedy plates on there, let's go to there together and use remedy 20 at checkout for 20% off. If you don't see your plate on there that we represented in class, then get in touch with me and just let me know, because we still have some that we need to post. So here are some of the remedy plates that we have. You can also search up here. And this is going to bring up all the different plates that we have. Oh yeah, there we go. Here's the fractal one. Here's the shungite plate. And this is my fault because I should have put the scalar broadcast remedy plate. I'm going to have to change the name. Because to find this one, you have to put in scalar broadcast generator. So I need to change that because that'll be confusing. So if you're looking for this plate, and then they're all 20% off for the rest of the week. Yes, I think we have the 5-layer plate with the vials. Let me turn the camera off for 1 second here, and I'll walk around, see if I can grab that. And then what I want to do is show you about creating remedy plate. Excuse my audio for 1 second. From the remedy plate to the Genius. So we'll go through that in just one moment. If you have other questions, please let me know. Go ahead and put it into the chat and we'll talk about it. I actually found it, which is just an absolute miracle. I'll tell you what the plate, with the 5-layer plate that we have is the one that we demonstrated today. So that's the plate that we have right now with those 5 different colors. But if you're not sure, Lori, then just shoot me an email and I will show you that. Okay, just give me 1 second here. I actually found them. So that's this, looks like a little rotary dial there. And the vials themselves. So what's interesting about that is it actually fits right on top, okay? So then let's say that you could take these vials. There's a couple of different things that you can do with them. Like I said, this is more fun than healers were previously allowed to have. So here I have these vials. And what you could do is you could put 1 drop of essential oils, 1 drop of a, 1 drop of trying to think of it, flower essence, and then you could create a unique combined remedy that you would then pull into the Genius. Or you could put different remedies into the vial and then broadcast them into your home for a certain effect. There's lots of different ways to do that. You also could put water in one of these vials and just have the person put this into their pocket. So this is kind of a cool configuration. Maybe we should ask for this for all the different plates. This is pretty cool. So, let's see. Okay, so that's the 5, right, configuration. And so it's got these, try not to drop them, it's got these vials on top. So in the vial, you could put, so here goes a drop of lavender. Here is elm flower essence. Here is vitamin A. Because you want to create a combined remedy that you're going to import into the Genius that is going to be just that remedy with all that combination energy combined. Okay? I mean, how fun is that? So that's what you could use those vials for. Or you could just take the vial and imprint it and put some water in here with a little bit of alcohol. They're not really going to drink it, so it doesn't matter, but you don't want stuff to grow in there. So maybe like a drop of brandy or something like that to preserve it. And then that person could carry this in their pocket, and or can't really put it on a necklace, but the idea is that they keep it close to them, and then they're going to get all of the energies. So let's take a look at the Genius itself, and what you would do if you were looking at the Genius. All right. So Diane, that is so cool that you're in Phoenix. That's just a shuttle ride away from coming to class. I'm going to start a list here. It's be great to do that, perhaps in the springtime. All right, so let's look at this. So what we're going to do is let's go to libraries, and we're going to create a library. And let's say the library is going to be about colloidal silver. Okay, so this one is Argentin 23. Now there's just going to be one item in here. Okay, and so then we're going to save it. We're going to add the item, and so we could just put whatever's exactly is on the label. This is a nasal spray, but it doesn't really matter. That's just the bottle that it's in. So Argentin 23. Colloid. All right, now we're not going to hit archetype encoding, which I almost did. We're going to put it on the plate. Like this. And so once it's on the plate here, we're going to put imprint test plate. And as long as they're connected, now what it's going to do is it's going to pull in the energy of whatever is on the plate. So it's pulled in the energy of the colloidal silver. Now, anytime that you want to utilize that frequency, you have the digital imprint of what is in here. And I always thought that this is really important in case they ever outlawed frequencies, and they have started to prohibit some of the homeopathics, you guys. So if you have homeopathics or other remedies, I would suggest that you start imprinting them into the Genius as a way to digitally archive them in case they're ever not available, because the government is going to prohibit us from having that things, having these types of medicines or natural remedies. Well, if you put them into your Genius as a way to archive them, you can always bring them back into water and utilize them. So start going to your medicine cabinet or your supplement cabinet and start get your remedy plate out and just start imprinting everything that you can into your Genius so that it is preserved, for as long as possible. All right, so let's see what we've got here. All right, so between the 5-layer plate and the scalar broadcasting plate, they will create the same remedy or slightly different. So it would be so interesting if we would have something that could measure either like the energy that we're putting into like, I don't know. We need to have a class like together to sort of get everybody to sort of give their intuitive opinion about this. I think that this one is quite powerful because of the magnets that are in here and because of the rotation that it does. So if you're looking for something that would be really powerful for your home and for the frequencies, to imprint the frequencies, I'd say maybe this one, but some people just really love that 5 layers of sacred geometry. So you could also just let your intuition be your guide of which one seems the most, you're most drawn to, because we don't really have the playbook of, you know, which one does what. Now, we did talk about this particular one comes with the ability to have the vials on here. And so to use the vials to then make that combination remedy. So you can see this plate doesn't have that ability to do that. So if that's something you want to bring together, a bunch of different things together into one energy that you digitally input into your genius, that would be why you would do that. Those are great questions. It's so fun to bring these out and play with them. We do also have, this is going to be 20% off as well. Where is the original presentation here? Okay. So what we have is this. They're a little hard to see, but they're cards that you can put into your wallet, and they have the Tesseract frequency on there. So you can charge these up as well with your daily optimizer frequencies, vitamins, minerals. Maybe you're going to be flying, something like that. And then you could put this goes into your wallet like a credit card. So these will be 20% off as well. These are really fun. So you could imprint those with frequencies and maybe EMF protection frequencies or something like that when you're flying. So those are really fun to play with as well. Let's see if there's anything else here. All right, so we talked about these types. You're going to see these. I'm going to do a follow-up email as well. So you're going to see these. It's these discs. I'm trying to move around the presentations. Being very uncooperative. Thank you so much. Okay. So you can put frequencies into here. That's what's being shown on the screen there. All right, some different ones. All right, so put solfeggio frequencies in, place the genius items into any tray, select the timer, hit the play button, the frequencies, then saturate the chosen media. So another thing that you can play with, like say you're creating a bracelet for someone, is maybe you actually want to play those frequencies overnight. And you just want to put it, you can play it overnight by plugging in your genius and setting it to 0, and it'll just play on infinite loop. Sorry, my sound is over here. And you can play it on infinite loop. And so that would be a way to sort of super saturate a bracelet. And I think that would be like, person's going to feel it more. The more that you imprint it, the more that they feel that the imprints are in there. So if you do it something like overnight, the thing is, if you were going to make a mass business out of it, it probably wouldn't be very practical. And you can really feel the frequencies after just 15 minutes of imprint. It's going to take some time for you to, get used to this and see, like, when I do it for 15 minutes, I feel like that's enough. No, I really need 30 minutes. And then be your own researcher. So imprint this for 15 minutes. And then after 15 minutes, put it on. And then go back and do the same frequencies for 30 minutes and see if it was different. So that's a great question, the infinite loop question. Very, very easy to do. It's funny, when you know these things, you just take them for granted, and you forget how valuable the information is if you don't know it. So let's say you wanted to imprint this set of frequencies for overnight. Okay, so you have to get your power source plugged in, you get your remedy plate all set up, you put it on the remedy plate, it's all set up, it's ready to go, and now you're like, okay, so now I want to play the frequencies for like 8 hours. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your Genius, you've got these all selected, we're going to play it, and we're going to, this little button here, which is the time selector button, we're going to put it down to 0. So when we put it down to 0, and just play it. As long as it's plugged into power, it will continue to play just on infinite loop. So even though it says 50, because it's set to 0, it's just going to keep playing. It's going to count down to 59, 50, 60 minutes, whatever, count it all the way down, and then it'll just start another 60 minutes. All right. All right, remember Remedy 20 for 20% off the remedy plates. I'm going to put them all together so it's really easy to find all of them, and then I'll send a follow-up email so you can see them. Can you imprint more than one bracelet at a time if using all frequencies? Yeah, for a generic client. You absolutely can. So, you might like a remedy plate with a lot of surface area on it. Pretty easy one to do it. Actually, on that is the triple remedy plate. Sort of has that center where sort of you can gather everything. And you can even put a plate on top of this. So let's say I had a plate, like a container for them, then just put the container on with the bracelets and then put that on infinite loop and have them all the generic frequencies and then put them on your website. And even starting an Etsy account. You start an Etsy account with these unique frequency imprints, and you also put in the advertisement, do you have a request, right? So, but that not only gets people who are if you put on your listing that your Etsy listing that you also do biofeedback sessions in addition to the bracelets, that could be a great way to get the word out about what you do. And I'm not sure if Etsy lets you have the email access to the person, your customer, but if they did, then that would be an incredible way to build your email list. But at least you can start to get the word out about what you do. So that could be really helpful. All right, so I'll take any final questions, and we kind of went through all the plates, we went through all the imprinting. The thing is to just get out and start doing it. I really find that over the years that I feel like our Genius community has not really done this, done this enough, And you could create an entire empowerment business with each individual solfeggio. The thing is that sometimes we know so much about something that we forget how new it is for someone else. So you just take one bracelet. And you guys just go to Amazon and just go like semi-precious bracelets like these. I think you get like 10 of these for $20 or something. And I think they're the real semi-precious stones. Like I think this is tiger's eye. You could work up to do things a lot fancier, but just start with the most simple. These are very inexpensive to start with. And so you can have 12 different bracelets, one for each solfeggio. And then you could just write up, like this is a 174 hertz bracelet. It helps you to let go of limitations, develop inner strength, and a strong spiritual connection. And just to see how, which ones that you sell. So a lot of people in the world are on Etsy, and they're looking for gifts. They're looking for unique items. And then if you connected that with doing YouTube videos about what I just talked about and even showed yourself imprinting from your remedy plate, think about the interest that gets from people who may want to work with you individually, may want to have you make a bracelet for their spouse. It's so fun. So just get out there and start playing with your remedy plate. Email me, ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com if you have any questions, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks, everybody, and have a great night. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Susie, I'm glad you were here, and I'm glad that you picked up some new tips and tricks. All right, Ayana, thank you so much, everybody. All right, have a good night. Bye-bye for now.